All right, welcome everybody. Sorry, we're about 2 or 3 minutes behind on getting the call started this afternoon. This is a Launch Partners call. Of course, who's on it? Launch Partners. What is a launch partner? We're going to get into that a little bit more. But I was just telling a story before I hit the record button, so let me pick it up on that story. I was just referring to Will Smith, the actor, who's somebody I really enjoy listening to, especially his video clips and when he's on TV shows and so forth, because he is he's just a whirlwind of energy, but he's directing his energy in such a great way that he's uplifting so many people, especially with his understanding and application of the law of attraction. He lives and breathes it, teaches it every moment he can, and he's taken to social media. And he was talking about this morning, a clip that I was watching, how the key to the activation of this whole process is self-discipline. Self-discipline. He kept stressing, it's all about self-discipline. The thoughts we think. What is self-discipline? It's our ability to give ourselves a command and follow it. Our ability to stay focused on the thoughts that we want to host. And he's talking about his wife's, I guess his brother-in-law, his youngest brother-in-law, who wanted to become a film producer. And he had an idea, and Will thought, that's not a bad idea. This could change your entire life. But Will said to his brother-in-law, I'll mentor you if and only if you follow what I say to the T, to the letter. You've got to do exactly as I say. And it made me chuckle because that's exactly what Bob Proctor would say. If you wanted him to coach or mentor you, he'll tell you right away, you got to do exactly as I say. Well, so Will, basically the first thing he put this guy to was he put him in touch with a workout guy. And he said, I don't want to talk to you about this until you get a six-pack. A six-pack, like physical. So it's like, he wants to be a film producer. What's that got to do with a six-pack? Well, of course, it has everything to do with six-pack because it's not about the six-pack. It's about the mental fortitude that you've got to develop if you're going to engage in a story of success. If you're going to turn your life into the life of a success story, regardless of how you apply that, what you do, if you want to be successful, the art of success begins with self-discipline. And so, because the law of attraction relies on it, your ability to focus your thoughts. So Will's big thing is about self-discipline. He talked about that. Anyway, I digress a little bit, but last night I had the most amazing phone call you could ever hope to have with one of your children. Me and my daughter connected, and I got a text message from her, and she said, I get this. I really finally get it all. And I was on a conference call. Some of you may have watched the recording of it last night. It's a good call. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's really good. I think my thoughts were very succinct. It was good to slow it down with the translation so I could deliver that message very clearly about the launch and the process. Anyway, so I get a hold of my daughter, and she is literally off the charts. I mean, she is vibrating so high, I got to climb the stairs to reach her. She is just on cloud 9. She says, I've had the best 3 days of my life. Nothing can touch me. I'm not worried about a single thing because I get it. Why would I spend an ounce of energy worrying about stuff? That would be allowing energy, the energy that's flowing to and through me, to be consumed by an idea that's in opposition to what I want to create as my reality. She says, I've had the best time at work. And she's absolutely giddy on the phone. She's so giddy on the phone because she's in this vibe that's so high. She says it's penetrating everybody around her, and they're just all amazed. And she finally understood, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love what I do. That it wasn't about what she did at that very moment, even if she didn't enjoy it, the thing she's doing, by putting herself into the spirit and the vibration of the higher order, which is, I love what I do. I love what I do. The manifestation of that will manifest according to the law in the most convenient self. It'll cloak itself in the most convenient manner possible and become the reality she lives. And when she finally owned that, and I mean she owns this, you can't knock her off her pedestal. Now, wow, can you imagine being 20 years old and having that to look, to set in motion the next phase of your life? Well, we're not 20 years old, those of us on this call, but we could still learn. And I had to, brush some of the dust off me, especially listening to my daughter last night when she heard me talk about a few things. And she said, Papa, what are you thinking? You don't have to do that. Just boom. And she's like, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh my God, she really does get this. Because she could clearly see where I was not on target. And so it's very important that even though you may know about this thing, you may know about this law, you may know about these concepts, to actually put them to work, to apply them. She wakes up every morning and writes her 10 statements of gratitude, what she is grateful for. Every day she's in this book writing it since she's been at the curriculum in Los Angeles a few days back. So imagine that. Imagine you started your day writing what you were grateful for. How do you think that might affect your mood? How do you think that might affect your thoughts and how you apply yourself and who you apply yourself with? You may become dismissive of certain things and certain people because they simply bring you down. So it's an extraordinary time, I think, that we're living in. And if you need a refresher, I really encourage that. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to be as impacted as much as I was, because I'm a student of this material for so many years, and I've gone on to study other works, but to infuse it, to be in the vibration. It's not to know about it, it's to be in it, to be literally, she created this idea. I think it's amazing. I told her, read a book. She calls it her mind palace. Her mind palace. She wrote me, and I got to read this to you because, oh my God, this is so profound. What she wrote was, here we go. There it is. I realized you just can't see the mind palace. You have to live in it. This is my daughter talking here. That's what I wasn't getting before. That's a text message. So you tell me, are you living in the mind palace, or are you just looking at it from afar? And the answer to that question is, obviously, if we look at our results and the trajectory of our life, then we know what the answer is. And so, do we need a wake-up call? Ourselves. Do we need a refresher? Ourselves. What are you tapped into? What are you plugged into that's feeding your mind with these ideas every single day? In fact, the beginning of every single day. She's at work listening to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, while she's working. Now, that can only contribute to a better quality of life. That can only contribute to more success in your business. And we are supposed to be the leaders of the pack. Well, I can sit here telling you all day long, and you could do the same, telling everybody, do this, do this, do this, the how-tos of business. And while they are, yes, important, they are insignificant when you compare them to the why-tos and the vibration that puts you on if you hold and focus on that idea. I love this thought I shared with you on Tuesday, and that was that if you hold the space of this higher vibration, then you are in harmony with all things that are operating at that level, at that frequency. The second you shift your frequency down here, your thoughts, your energy, your vibe, your feelings, then you're in alignment, in harmony with all things that are in harmony here. So if it's poor me, I had a bad day, this didn't work out, when you're in that mode, you're in harmony with, did you ever hear the expression, misery loves company? You're going to find it. You'll have it. The company will arrive, and they'll sit there and remind you of how right you are. But the same is true if you just shifted your vibration to the higher spirit, the higher vibration. And spirit, by the way, my daughter said the biggest challenge she's having with kids her age, as she started to talk about, people at work. She says, my God, Papa, these people don't even have ambition. They have no goals. They have nothing that they're striving for. They've learned to accept things the way they are, and that's it. They live day in and day out like that's all there is. I'm like, Sophia, that's 99% of the population are asleep. They're not awake like you. And they've been conditioned to be like this. They've been taught to be satisfied with what they got. That is the antithesis of their nature, the exact opposite, because their divine nature is spirit, and spirit is always for expansion and greater expression. So the moment we stop expanding, or the moment we stop expressing with greater anything, humans being more, that's when it all starts to cave in. That's when we start the downward spiral. So we, launch partners, are the leaders of the pack. Now, we may call ourselves launch partners because I've created this label and we've had this community and we've been plugging in and so forth, but that's not what this is really about. It's not about being part of a tribe of people because there's a label associated with it. It's about being associated with an ideal, something that drives us and compels us. And that collectively, because there's more than one of us, where two or more are gathered, we can have so much more power and potential to make a difference. Really, that's what this is about. You can see we started Launch Partners with 55 names. I think it was at the beginning, 55 or 58 names. Wannabes. Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody wants to feel important. But I'll tell you where it shows up. It shows up on the field. Are you playing your best game? When you're not in the calls, are you doing the best you can for your business? And what does that mean? Ask your mind, ask your thoughts. Am I using self-discipline to keep my mind and my thoughts preoccupied with what is important, what is productive, and what moves me towards my goals? Yeah, I said that word, goals. Are we or are we not in business? Are we not destined to achieve something? Because if all we're doing is going through the motions, we just repeat the past. And that's that spiral of going nowhere. A lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy going into reading emails. By the way, I just want to put this out there for all of you as well. Do you ever notice the chatter on the WhatsApp? Do you ever notice my response sometimes? Like the last text I just did? Really? You're going to ask a question after I just made a statement and question the statement? Really? So let's think. Let's really do ourselves a favor and be thinking rather than reacting. Thinking people, because then you're going to be more calculated about what you want to say and what you want to project. And I think that's really, really important. I think it's very, very important that we as the leaders, as the launch partners, as those who are holding an ideal for the vision of this company, for the future of this company, that we hold ourselves to a higher standard, a much higher standard, that we think before we speak, we reason, we use those higher faculties that we have and become the leaders that we're aspiring to be by holding the thought that we are already that. Now, we have an event coming up July 21. That'll be the ABC, Power ABC. So please start submitting your flyers. There's a new flyer, by the way, it'll be green. So we're now into the season of the new color, the summer. So the flyers ought to be green. If they're not being sent to you green, the guy who's in charge messed up. So these flyers for the next quarter are green in color. So just give me a heads up if it comes through my way anyway, but just get your events organized and set up and committed to. Now, I've done a lot of talking. I want some feedback in the remainder of this call with respect to what we've been talking about, because I think this is so important. My critics will tell me you spend too much time in the clouds and talking about these higher ideals and blah, 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 blah. Well, everything is upside down. It all begins up there and then comes down. So where do you think you're creating from? If you're creating from the space of the third dimension, that's why my daughter says you got to live in the palace. You got to live in the mind of the palace mind, the mind palace. Where's that? She says, I'm not even paying attention to the current results. I'm not even paying attention to these things because these are just a reflection of the past. But if she were to be consumed, like most people are, about what's in front of them, those then become the thoughts you think, the feelings that those conjure up, which for most people is doubt, fear, worry. Those are the most vile things you can host as a divine being. And then, of course, we project that out into the world around us just by being in that vibration. And then we attract more of the same. And we wonder, well, we don't wonder, we know, but we're not consciously aware, and we're not using self-discipline to make the correction. That's what I mean by we may know about this subject. We may all be able to teach this subject, say, yeah, if you're harboring negative thoughts, doubt, worry, and fear, that's not going to be good for you. That's going to manifest stuff that you don't want in your business, in your life. We can all say that. We all know that. But are you actually living in the mind palace? Are you actually in that higher space, in that higher frequency, in the illusion and delusion of your imagination, where everything begins? You know, if you were taught as a kid, stop daydreaming, I'm telling you as an adult, start daydreaming. Because that's where it all starts. So if you guys want to unmute, flip your lines open, and just throw in some insights for how was your last Power ABC? How will you apply yourself? And what are some of your goals? Like, let's get the vibe of our business up. We're the leaders of the pack. Let's show them what it looks like to lead. What do we think? What do we say? What do we talk about? And I only want to hear those things that are in alignment with the objectives. I don't ever want to entertain, and that goes with everybody who calls me. Don't waste my time with stuff that is not in alignment with your purpose and your goal. If the thought is not in alignment with your purpose and your goal, go back to work, figure out what it is that you have to readjust in the thinking process, then come back. And I'll be more than happy to affirm it.
Mike, I don't know whether to say thank you or no thank you, but you caused me 2 nights sleep after your presentation on Tuesday. My mind would not shut off. And I realized that I was falling short in some of the areas. And so I went back to rereading The Power of Awareness. That call on Tuesday was haunting. It really hit me between the eyes where I was falling short. So as I say, I don't know whether to say thank you. It's the first night's sleep on a Nikken sleep system that I have missed in a very, very long time.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, I can hear it in your voice, kind of like what I was hearing in my daughter's voice last night. You know, when it's in your cells, when it's in the core of your being, it's who you are. And in this moment, you are creating, as you are in every moment. We may as well be creating what we really want and be conscious of it. Be aware and self-disciplined. Correct. Make those corrections instantly. Oh, that's another thing she said. She's become aware of the stuff hitting her. So she's making course corrections very, very quickly because all of a sudden now she's exceptionally aware of the contradictory thoughts and ideas. So that's what happens when you shift frequencies. You become more aware. Yes, Cheryl.
Mike, I just want to touch on following up kind of what Barb said with Tuesday's call. And what I did too is just went back to the drawing board, I always do go back to what you've been speaking of is getting in that vibration. And so I went back to reading some of the material that you've presented before. And what happened to me was I actually brought that vibration up. And yesterday, 2 things happened because of it that totally, you know, I won't go into the details of it, but totally wouldn't have happened if I wasn't up into that vibration. And it's just that awareness, aha, see, it does work. So I always, even though, you know, like you said, people may say you're too high in the clouds, I think you have to always go back to that spot. Because that's what's going to bring, like you said, bring you back up. Because we're in this sea of
malaise.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to live your life? According to everybody else? According to what's common and what's popular? Gosh, what the heck would we be doing in Nikken in a company that's about humans being more if that was... But that's the framework. It's overcoming the inertia of that framework is really the work.
Yeah.
Yes, Madeline.
I've overcome the inertia. So after the Power A call, where I had 6 different business units here, the following weekend was Dave Rolfe's interview with Dave Johnson. So I canceled going into a regional quarterly and had 7 different business units, different than and then since then, daily luncheons with one person that's launching, other people in and out, and a different me. And with the help, I've used Barbara Joseph in helping me with polarity and balancing and focus and clarifying a lot of what you taught. And I see this in my 20-year PhD in network marketing. There's similarities in the results and the content that you and Dave Rolfe teach. I don't even know if he's aware of it as much, but in a different way of expression. And so I was anxious about the medical panel. I moved into action and it's happening. Anxiety's down and good things are happening since those decisions were made. I mean, absolutely amazing. One example, Dr. Melanie texted and wanted to know if there was an active physician that she could talk to. Well, Dr. Madrelejos is one that I thought of asking and connected them. They've already connected. We're planning the next Zoom meeting so that we can better plan. Dr. Stan, I had in a 20-minute notice a referral from a young podiatric resident, and I wasn't even here. I had a short period of time to get home. I got on the phone with him. He was driving home from work. I had him on standby. Perfect when she came in. And so I feel that the results have been because of the same people trickling in and all the Power A calls, increasing to this with some new ones coming in that have gone into action. So as those that have been following along have been watching the new ones in action, and then my behavior changing, now I just feel different, less anxious. We're physically active up until 1 in the morning and back up right at 6 in the morning. And so the vibration feels very different. And I thank everybody that's on here. All of these faces have been on this journey. And it really is, and I think that's one thing Dave Rolfe says that I really like. I can't be Mike DiMuccio. I'm not Barbara Joseph. I'm not Elaine Matthews. I'm Madeline. But yet what we've really gotten in this collaborative entrepreneurial training and tribe development, I look at Randy and Ruth and everybody that's on here. It is a tribe that for me has really helped me to understand. I have my little 3% club keychain and I've been teaching, all of that Proctor stuff from whatever year that was. And so now, like your daughter, I feel it, not thinking. And I'm an ESTJ in the Myers-Briggs or whatever that is. And so to get to the feeling level has really been a lot of hard work. And I feel good about the feeling. And so I'm really grateful to everybody here, those that I've mentioned and those that are seen and unseen, or however you say that. So thank you.
You're welcome. For everybody, I just want to add that now that the candle's lit, what do? We go around helping other people light up their candle. So the most productive time, the highest priority time you ought to have as a function of your business is interactions with other people, whether they're with your downline, with their prospects, or with your own prospects, or just seeking prospects, which is the art of asking for help. In fact, if the only thing you did was go out and ask for help, every ABC call was a plea for help. Why? Because you have an idea that's so big, you need help to make this a reality. There's no question about it. That's the truth. And so you go out with sincerity looking for help, which is an incredible compliment. Bob Proctor left us with a thought Sophia mentioned to me last night. She said, I've been doing this at work. I've been trying this. And oh my God, it's incredible how I feel and how the other person feels. She says, the greatest gift I can give to another human being is my attention. So imagine that. If that's your greatest gift, and our business is about sharing this gift, then the highest priority, the highest yielding activity for you, for your business, is to be out there asking for help, sharing your gift by giving people your attention. Everything else, answering emails, text messages, drawings, whatever, playing at your desk, all these things, while they may have some degree of importance at some point, they are low priority. And one of the things that Bob taught me long ago is never do what you can pay somebody else to do. I got right now 6 people outside my house, cleaning up stuff, fixing stuff, whatever. These are all things I enjoy doing. I can do it myself, but that's not high productive use of my time. I'd rather be on a beach. So be focused. Use your time wisely, because you cannot manage time. It's impossible. We all have the same amount of. It's just managing your events, where you prioritize your time. So the highest priority for all of us, imagine that. Imagine how many people, number one, don't have hope, don't even know there's opportunities out there for them, are suffering physically, mentally, emotionally. And here you are with the keys of the kingdom, and you're saying, I don't know what to do. What do you mean you don't know what to do? Yeah, you do know what to do. Just do it. And it will enrich you, because I know something about me. I am happiest when I'm in front of other people. I'm at my best when I'm in front of other people, and I cannot not be me, which is the person who wants to teach what I've learned with other people. And it impacts people, whether they decide to join the business or not. I'm living my purpose. That's one of my statements every morning. I'm so grateful that I'm living my purpose. Doesn't have to do with somebody else's reaction. It has to do with the fact that I'm outflowing what's true for me. We have, I'd say another minute if we're going to do this call is 30 minutes. Any final thoughts? Let me just recap. We have an event, July 21. Please get your applications, your registration, your flyers in place so I can post them on our Facebook pages. Want to remind you, the summit, by the way, these cards that I'm holding in my hand, I don't know if anybody's gotten any yet, but they're going to be shipped for the next 3 months in Nikken shipments. Every time Nikken sends out a box, that box is going to have this promo. So you know where this event's going to go. It's 60% of the rooms are already booked. Please don't wait if you're waiting, because then I'm going to be having to flip hamburgers to figure out how to get you guys in once things are already taken. And if you're a platinum or above, there are still seats available for the VIP dinner. Yes, it is for platinums and above only, because you're platinum and above. You've earned a VIP status, and we want to make the rest of the Nikken field of silvers and golds and non-silvers realize that it's important to advance in rank and get yourself to platinum, because that's where the VIP experience starts to show up. And we want to make sure that they want that experience for themselves. So let's create opportunities and situations that really acknowledge that, right? That's one of them, to be having dinner with some of the greats in Nikken. So many of you I'm going to see in a couple of weeks down in Orlando. Hopefully I'll see you all down in Orlando. And I may be calling on some of you because I've got some instructions on what I need to do, and I'm going to need some help getting that done. So unless I missed something, guys. Yes, Ruth?
Mike, do you have any idea who's speaking on the July 21st yet?
Do you have any recommendations? Because no, I don't. But if you have some recommendations, send me a text message. I'd be more than happy to entertain that. Because really what we want to showcase is the energy. The excitement, the energy. And so that's all it takes is, and the question is going to always be the same for me from that point of view is, hey, if you had this to do over again, what would you have done different? And usually the comeback is more of what I figured out, but I would have started earlier. Okay. That's it. So if you do have some recommendations, please send them my way. I'd be more than happy to vet them for the roster. And if you want to volunteer, do that as well. Thanks, everybody.